Hi everybody. So I'm going to do a little video for you about how to make duplications of functions and relations in Desmos using list. So this is a nice little trick to be able to graph the same thing over and over without having to type multiple things into Desmos. So if you haven't used a list before, you should name your list. That way it's easy to refer to. And then you use square brackets, and that's how you tell it's a list. So watch that as soon as I hit that square bracket, it says A equals 0 element list. So you could just type in some numbers, however many you want. So now I have a bunch of them, and just to show you something really easy to start, say I wanted to graph a line like y equals x. Well, usually you type y equals x and it's just one line, y equals x. But if I put a in front of it, now the coefficient to that x is 1, and then it's 2, and then it's 3, and then it's 4. So that's kind of nice that you can have it do a lot of things. What's also kind of fun is you could change this line into a line segment, so you could do like a restriction on it. And a lot of times you might say something like, I don't know, -1 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 1, right? And then you have these smaller little segments, right, instead of the whole line. But you could also have that go from -a to a. And that way you could not only have the different lines, but then they could have different lengths based on the slope that they had. So that's kind of fun. Another thing that's really cool, so let's go ahead and turn that off. Let's do another list B. Now Desmos is really smart, so it can pick up on what a list is doing. So watch this. If I say B equals, and I tell it to 4 ... I could go to 12, and notice it says I have 6 elements in my list, so it picks up on the pattern and it will reproduce it. So maybe we want to do something like, say, a circle. So let's say I have x squared plus y squared, and then let's equal that to b. So see how it gave me a bunch of circles, and then it's going to give each one of them the radius would be the square root of b. If you want it to be b, you would do b squared, and then I have these bigger circles that are spaced out. So that's kind of nice that you can do these multiple all at once just by putting in one command. You can play with this as much as you want to. You could make the numbers smaller. So say we do like c equals, let's put in a negative this time. So like -0.6, and then -0.4, and I'm going to do ... Now I wanted to show you this, that the ... the ellipsis tells it to continue the pattern. So if I want to continue the pattern to maybe +0.6, I put another point. So you really have to pay attention to your dots there so you don't get them lost. But it does say it has 7 elements in the list now. So this time I'm going to do y is equal to c. So I'm just going to make it do a bunch of horizontal lines. This might also be interesting to do for a trig function. So for a trig function, I would put in f of x is equal to. That way it's a function, not a y equals. I like that's a little better. We might need to call it back for something else later. So I'm going to put in a that we used earlier, sine of x, and see how it gives us a bunch of different heights there. Remember, that's giving us an amplitude because it's in front of the a, versus if I put the a after, it's also going to move it up. So not only did it kind of change it going up and down the amplitude, but then I add a, which makes it higher and lower. So you can really see a lot of things going on here when you do that. So it's a really pretty way to have a repeated, almost wallpaper look, is by using these lists in there to have it do things. So you can play around with it to kind of see what that looks like, right? So you can see now, if I put the parentheses here, this is changing the period. Now this kind of gives it a 3D look as you're looking at it. So lots of fun things you can do with having that list in there. I think this is a great way to do some pretty pictures. I'll add some other videos of other fun little techniques, but I thought this was a good one if you're trying to do like a Desmos art. This helps me have lots of things on the page.